the subject of cosplay and going to your first convention, stuff that you can fit in your car, or if you are traveling via public transit somewhere, stuff that you can fit in your suitcase. So you don't want to have a lot of...
How many times have you driven and not been able to see out the back of your car?
Almost every year.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it is inevitable if 5 people are driving together and it's 5 people...
With hoop skirts.
Yeah, 5 people with cosplays, normal clothes, a cooler, food, you know, etc., etc. It's a lot of stuff. Take the biggest cars that you can between all of you if it's a driving situation as opposed to public transport, and
try to Tetris it in.
Yeah.
Get really good at Tetris.
Yeah.
Practice all your
Train.
Learn how to pack your normal clothes and stuff in the most
Roll them.
They're
roll
entire
them,
clothes.
roll
Yeah.
them,
Don't have the
tuck thing,
vacuum
you know.
seal bags.
Learn how to package them as small as you can. That way you can get all of the rest of your stuff in. That way you can get all the rest of your stuff in.
If they're fragile things, try to put them in those little boxes that they sell, those little plastic ones that have the top lids and stuff, like shoes. If you spent years on shoes, put them in there and then seal them up, because when you're Tetrising, sometimes something will fall. Something will happen in that back seat, and something will fall. You don't want your beautiful 3-year shoes to get crushed and no one see them. So keep in mind what you're doing, where you're keeping them when you do that, because if you put the weapon on top, it can fall. Don't just assume it'll work.
Especially if you're using the busboy, or what the hell are they called? The
busboys. The busboy.
They're not busboys.
No,
they're
bellhops.
Bellhops.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm saying. They sometimes they'll help you to take your stuff out of the car. You know, sometimes they don't understand that there are things that are going to be fragile, and they will just rip your crap out of the car and toss it onto a trolley. And
So you hold those careful, secretive things and let them push, clothes.
yeah.
And the bulky stuff that you can carry yourself, because they don't know that it's special to you. They just think, okay, they're on vacation, they're doing weird stuff, whatever. Or they appreciate it, whatever. I'm not judging you. But you should at least remember that they are not like you. They're not thinking the same way you are. So you can't blame them.
They're trying to get everybody in.
Yeah, they're not thinking, let me check every bag to make sure there isn't something breakable in here before I throw it on the cart. So
they're not thinking there might be a laptop inside.
Yeah.
So.
Or some kind of precious cosplay related prop, So definitely remember where your fragile things are in which bag, and keep them on top when you're packing in the car, and it's best to just carry it yourself whenever you can, and just, avoid that situation.
If you have a large car with a rack on the top, look into getting one of the top bags.
Virtually every hotel has an ironing board in the closet, so if your clothes get wrinkled, you can always iron them out. If your cosplays get wrinkled, you can iron them out. It's not the end of the world. So if you roll stuff or fold it up and you unfurl everything when you get in and there's a lot of wrinkles, that's completely fixable. It's more important to get everything smartly, tightly packed away in as few bags as possible, so you can pack up the car and not make driving a huge hazard, and get it all up to your room in a reasonable amount of trips, and not kill yourself with those hoop skirts. Not kill yourself with too many hoop skirts. Yeah.
I have a friend who tosses all of her costumes into a trash bag and just goes, and then she'll bring her own iron, because it's the one she knows, and she'll just iron them up in the hotel room.
It's all up to preference. If you're a very organized person, that's fine, but if you're going with organized people and you're not organized, just be a little considerate.
So, don't plan to finish your costume at convention. Always try to plan to finish your costume beforehand. But if it does happen, it happens all the fucking time.
Which inevitably will happen.
It will always happen. So, finishing your cosplay at the convention, get all of your major stuff done beforehand. If there's things that can be glued on, or really quickly hand sewn, like hooks and eyes and things like that, that's the stuff you want to finish.
Yeah, try to, if you get there early enough, use your sewing machine earlier in the day so people who want to get to sleep earlier can. That way, things that you can do really silently, like glue doesn't scream when you put it on, do that earlier so that way other people who are more prepared than you or just not cosplaying don't get angry at you because, you're Sharon. And if you're going to do it, which you're gonna, let's be honest, the little thing you want to do is gonna happen. You can do it. Just don't ruin the hotel while you're there.
Yes.
Like, don't put glitter on your Elsa cape in the hotel room because you want to try to do that before you get there.
Yeah.
Lots of glitter.
Yeah. File that under things to do beforehand. Anything with glitter.
Spray painting.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a good base. Don't spray paint the hotel room.
Dangerous fumes. Typically want to do those things outside before the hotel.
Yeah. I think every year, it's inevitable that at least half the people in the room will be doing finishing touches on at least one of their cosplays. And it's no big deal. It's easy to fit into your schedule at the end of the day or the beginning of the day in the room.
What's that?
And but try to get the major stuff out of the way before you go to the convention. You don't want to be literally putting your cosplay together from pieces there. I mean, you can probably get something simple done, but you really don't want to put that stress on yourself the day before.
It's so stressful.
If you're wearing it the next morning and you're trying to put it together, you don't want to do that. So
Let's talk about at your first convention.
When you actually get there.
you
Yeah.
made it! You made it! You made it! Woo!
Oh wait, we shouldn't clap that loud.
So you've checked in, you've slept there the day before, or you've got there the day of, and you're at the convention center. What do?
All the things you want to say. I want to do all the things first.
Well, the best thing is the schedule, and we have a prop from Anime Next. What year?
2009.
2009,
Wow.
vintage.
Beautiful.
Intact.
You get one of these at any con you're going to. Should have some version of a
Of a
master
schedule.
schedule of all the panels, all the activities, all the events,
They put
where
corrections
everything
in it.
is, a map. Yes,
Map.
who the guests are going to be,
Yeah.
the celebrity guests, everything you need to know.
Yeah. Descriptions of everything.
Yep. So carry that around, study it well.
Your Bible.
Yes.
When you're there.
And map out things you want to do
Yes.
beforehand. And
Yeah.
make it handy, and you can coordinate with friends, like who wants to go to what panels, or if you want to hit up the dealer's room, who wants to go to the masquerade, etc.
Yeah, and you can plan without actually doing things. A lot of these you plan for, I'm definitely getting to that panel. You'll never make it sometimes, and that's okay. There's another thing 10 minutes later, and try to get there early if you do.
Sometimes, most of the times, the convention will have the schedule up on their website beforehand, so you can actually print it out. I want to say most of the time because there are certain conventions that have a little bit of an issue with getting their schedules put together on time. They will go unnamed.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
But also, not only do they have the physical copy, the copy on the website, there's also an app now.
Yes. Technology.
Yes.
It's caught up.
And you can download the schedule for whatever convention you are going to, and carry it around.
It gives
on
you
your phone.
reminders if you want them.
You can set up a schedule. New York Comic Con has an app that you put together. You go through the schedule and you select the panels and the autographs that you want to go to, and it makes a schedule for you.
Right.
Kineticon has it.
Yeah.
So I
A lot
mean,
of
if you don't mind carrying the physical book around, go for it. But now all you have to carry around is your phone, and you'll still have that schedule right on there. All the panels you wanted to go to, what time they'll start.
Most cons will have staff members that are
Oh,
actually
yeah.
volunteers that are trained to find you when you're lost and get you out of there. But but they don't know everything. You can't just go up to them and be like, "Where is this?" They don't know everything. So, but
Training is not that good.
no, it's
They're-
really like
they're
it's
all
base level.
volunteers,
It's
yeah.
base level volunteering. So they'll take you to a table that does. But They're everywhere. They're usually wearing a staff shirt. They're not a cosplayer wearing a staff shirt, and they actually have usually a bunch of carabiners or something to show you, okay, he's a safe person. I can go talk to him. So they're usually, even at big conventions, you can find them, and they will help you. They're actually vetted to be perfect people to find you when you're lost. So definitely use that as a resource, and the information desks they have.
Yes. And when it comes to certain panels, make sure you see if they are 18 and up, because they do have age restrictions.
They're,
So if you plan to go to one, posit it's 18 and over, bring your ID.
Because you're
You
going
will
to
not
get
be able to
banned.
get in. Yeah.
yeah. The thing with that is normally they will schedule those towards later in the night.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I'm still looking at you. They schedule those during the day right next to some family-friendly ones. So you still want to have your ID on you. You want to make sure that you're going to the right place.
And some cons actually have a booth where you have to get a wristband for it, and you have to stand in line and get that first before getting in line. So if it's limited number and you have to get in line early, get that band, then go, have your ID, obviously. You have to prove your age, but those are usually good the whole weekend, so you can use those. But if a con doesn't have it, it should have it on its website, whether or not it's there, but definitely go and make sure that they don't have a restriction like that instead of just being at the door with your license. They might not have the staff to do at the door things.
So photo shoots and meetups are actually usually planned in the forums, social media for the conventions. They're generally not run by staff.
They're not run by
Members of-
staff.
yeah.
They're not run by the convention. It's just other
Fans.
cosplayers and fans who are who want to do a massive meetup with other like-minded cosplayers who are in the same sort of costume. And those are a great thing to look for. I am horrible at doing that, but I have done it, and it's
fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun, especially if you're wearing something that you're really into, and you made this fabulous Disney princess dress, and then you realize there's a Disney meetup, and you get to go.
Shout out the
and-
Colossus meetup.
Yes.
It's just me.
You can make a one-person photo meetup. That's fine. But it's fun. It's fun to
Yeah.
see like-minded cosplayers, the creative things that other people did, different spins on cosplays, different versions, and
And you get good pictures.
you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
great pictures. You
There'll
get
be more
great photos.
photographers there,
Yeah.
and some of them will actually they'll be
Organize
professional. They'll know what
Yeah.
they're doing. They can actually get better pictures of you, and they'll be out there on the interwebs.
Yeah, so all around it's great.
Yeah.
Look out for those.
So if you actually know when a photo show is, I usually like to tell people if I see them and take pictures with them, like, hey, there's a photo shoot, you should come too.
Are you going to that?
Are you
photo
going
shoot?
to that photo
Dude,
shoot?
it's over. It's like at this time, at this place.
Or if you don't know, sometimes other cosplayers will know. So
They'll
if
tell you.
if they're nice enough and they know, or they figure it out, you could exchange numbers, or you could just say, hey, could you just tell me when you figure it out? But most of them will know. Most
Yeah.
of them are pretty connected. So ask.
And there's usually someone online that tends to make a sort of official schedule of like, this is when, like in the forums, or usually even
Yeah.
Facebook has forums now.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
A whole
It's posted a
comprehensive
lot.
list.
There's a lot of
They have
Facebook
a-
groups for it now too.
They
Yeah,
definitely-
Cosplay.com
I
has
definitely
huge ones.
appreciate the
Yes.
people who put together an actual comprehensive schedule. It's
Yeah.
almost mimics the official schedule,
Yes.
just for photo shoots.
Usually if you type in photo shoot con and the number, like the year, I'm sorry, you'll get a bunch of forums like saying photo shoots where, and cosplay.com is really, really where most of them are.
Yeah.
I actually religiously go there when I'm going to a con, because I feel like that one's always pretty accurate, and if there's any extras, they update it immediately, so I have that like hotbarred on my phone.
There are certain conventions that will add the fan meetups to their schedule. I think
Yeah.
New York Comic Con might be one of them, but I could also just be making that
PAX
up.
does that. PAX does that. I'm pretty sure it was PAX that did it. Where they're big enough that they're like, okay, this one, they reserve the stage and they're like, this part done.
Yeah.
So some conventions will have it, but not a lot
Not
will.
Most
all
of them are
them.
non-official.
Most of them will not
Non-official.
be. They will not. Yeah.
Yeah, unofficials.
Unofficial, but very fun.
While you're at the convention, if you see cosplayers that are amazing and spectacular, and you would love to take a picture with them, ask them for a picture. Go ahead and ask for pictures. One of the things that I do have to say is ask for pictures, because a lot of there are certain people who will just they'll be on their way to, they've been in that costume for 8 hours, they want to go sit down, eat, they're dehydrated, something's going wrong or whatever, and you might just be like, oh my god, and be taking pictures of them, and that's not cool. Like, you don't want somebody taking pictures of you when you're like sitting there eating a burrito, you know?
Or maybe you do.
Or maybe you do. That's your case.
Personal
I can't
preference.
shame you
Yeah.
for it, but you want to ask beforehand. And always,
Don't glomp them immediately after they say yes. Their costume might be fragile.
Do
It
not.
might be a Trinity Blood costume. That costume is worth more than your life. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Try to stand next to them. Ask them, hey, do you mind if I grab your arm or something?
do you mind if I do
Do the hover arm.
yeah.
You know, like don't
like,
assume that
ask.
because they said yes, meaning that I can be like this on them.
Don't just
Doesn't
touch
mean
people.
that. Don't
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
touch. Just be like, hey, okay, is this all right? All right, cool.
Yeah,
And hopefully if you're watching this and we're saying, you know, don't touch people or take their pictures without asking, and you're thinking, well, obviously, that's good for you. But you'd be surprised, I think it's happened to every single one of us. We've either been run up to, like someone will run up and hug you without you being asked,
Yeah, like
or you'll realize someone's photographing you, and you're not posing, you're not ready for it, you're not saying, yes, you can take photos of me, and I think everyone's run into that multiple times over the years, especially if you're in a popular cosplay. Not that that's an excuse at all, but it just tends to be with the more popular cosplays, you'll get more attention. And it seems obvious, and I think most of the people that do it in day-to-day life, they wouldn't, but something about being at a convention, some people forget that
everything's okay.
you know, it's still a stranger, and just because they're wearing something,
that you recognize that's familiar to you does not make them
Yeah.
familiar.
and just because you saw someone take their picture earlier in the day doesn't mean you're automatically allowed to do the same.
also,
You know, just be self-aware, be aware of other people, be considerate, and always ask people.
If you're shy and like anxious and you're not comfortable with going up to another person and being like, hey, can I take your photo? This is a really creepy thing to do, but you can do it anyway because it's usually harmless. Keep an eye on them, stay within close range of them, and somebody else will come up to them and be like, hey, can I take your picture? And they will agree, and then you just zoom in there, hold up your camera, be like,
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
usually
ready
that's
for
a
it,
good
yeah.
way for
You
that
don't
to
have to
happen.
actually talk to them, but you can get their permission.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
have to
that
be every time going, excuse me, sir, might I take your photo? Although you can do it that way, but if someone is wearing something that's getting a lot of attention and they are already clearly posing, there are maybe 8 other people in a circle taking their photo, you can jump in there, you can, you know, if they're clearly posing for a group of photographers, that's okay. Or if one person's taking their picture and you kind of give the okay for me too signal, that's usually fine. It doesn't have to be a very formal asking, but there should be some kind of letting the other person know that this is a thing that's happening,
Yeah,
and not just photographing you from across the room, or, you know, just running up and hugging you without saying anything beforehand. And it's happened to all of us. It's not uncommon.
Yeah,
You don't have to
say
say
no.
you're allowed to say no, I don't want pictures taken of me, or like you don't want to be touched. That is okay.
Yeah.
Don't let other people pressure you.